Hello, and welcome to this week's episode of the Pickleball Crew. We are a group of pickleball fanatics based in southeast Louisiana and are passionate about all things pickleball everywhere. Our focus is to inform, acknowledge those who help build the game regionally, and promote tournaments in our area. We do our best to present this with a love of the sport, a sense of humor, and a lot of fun. So join Vicki Wynn, Ken Wynn, Jeff Fuchsia, and me, Bud Klein, in our latest episode. We are glad you are along for the ride. In this episode, Ken will start us off with his review and updates of local tournaments. Then the crew will jump into a discussion of when to attack, counterattack, or reset. Ken and Vicki attended the Fall Fling 2023 in St. Francisville, Louisiana this past weekend. While they were there, they captured 2 interviews and some interesting video. Be sure to stay tuned for that and learn that pickleball is not just for us humans. Jeff shares another one of his Burrs Under My Saddle, and Vicki brings us her weekly shout-outs. Stay with us. This is going to be a fun episode. Well, the crew's all here, and now it's time to talk a little bit of pickleball. So let's get started. Hot off the press, it's time for Ken's review of local tournaments.
Great. Thanks, Bud. We are in the middle of pickleball madness when it comes to tournaments. October, just this past weekend, was the Fall Fling in St. Francisville. More on that in a little bit. Next weekend quickly approaching, is the 2023 Fall Brawl in Vicksburg. It's full. We're ready to go. The following weekend, October 21st, 22nd, the PCKL Gulf Coast Championships. Go to pickleballbrackets.com. There's over 109 people registered at the time of this recording. Registration closes October 14th. I'm not sure if they're going to keep it open past that. Gender doubles on Saturday, mixed doubles on Sunday, and it will be at Pops Ferry. So that's October 21st, 22nd. And the last week in October, the 27th through 29th, is a Halloween. It is full. We're looking forward to that. Going to November, the first weekend in November, it's crazy. I've never seen this before with 4 tournaments on one weekend. You've got the Louisiana State Games in Monroe. Go to pickleballbrackets.com. If you're a medalist, you qualify for the 2024 State Games of America, which is the Nationals. That'll be held in San Diego, California. There's already 58 people registered for the Louisiana State Games. The same weekend is the Louisiana Senior Games. That's November 4th and 5th. We'll put the URL at the bottom. It's going to be at Greenwood Tennis Center in Baker, Louisiana. They always do a good job. This is not a qualifying year, so you won't have singles, but you'll have gender doubles and mixed doubles. Also the same weekend, November 2nd, 3rd, 4th, it's the 9th annual tennis and pickleball fundraiser. This is for Raphael Village. This will be held at City Park Tennis Center in New Orleans on Thursday night, October 2nd. There's going to be a patron party, and it'll be at the Exchange. So we'll put up the URL. It's www.raphaelvillage.org. We'll put all the information up at the bottom of the screen for you to register. And the 4th tournament, November 3rd through 5th, is the Cane Break in Hattiesburg, Mississippi. This is at the Cane Break Country Club. There's 12 new outdoor pickleball courts. And reading the description, a minimum of $400 prize money per pool or per open event, as long as there's at least 8 teams in that event. So this is one of the few tournaments that's giving out prize money for each bracket or pool. Go to pickleballbrackets.com for the Cane Break Country Club tournament. Let's see. We're going to move on to November. The second weekend in November, W.O. Lott Park is the Tom Burkhart Magnolia Classic. Over 78 people are registered for this. It's $50 per person, and that gets you into 2 events, both gender doubles and mixed doubles. This is an MMP event, which means Medal Match Plus. So all of the finals will have a referee, and some of the finals will have a referee. Again, this is at W.O. Lott Park in Daphne, Alabama. Go to pickleballbrackets.com to register. The following weekend, November 18th, Back at Greenwood Tennis Center in Baker, Louisiana, is the Share Your Spare tournament. This is a one-day event. We're going to have the URL at the bottom for you to register. Let's move to December. December 1st through 3rd is the second annual Boys Ranch Christmas Classic. This is going to be at Fritchie Park Gym in Slidell, Louisiana. Registration has opened. Pickleballbrackets.com as well. Friday night's a social, open play, pick up your packet. Saturday is gender doubles. Sunday is mixed doubles. December 9th, 10th, this is the second annual Americana YMCA Pickleball Invitational. This is hosted by Chase Rigdon. Registration opened back in August. There are already players registered for this, and it is a USAP sanctioned event. This will be in Zachary, Louisiana at the Americana YMCA. The following weekend, December 15th through 17th, back at Greenwood Tennis Center in Baker, Louisiana, is the Pickle Jazz Pickleball Tournament. This one's $35, gets you two events, which could be gender doubles and mixed doubles. Again, it's a long URL, so we'll put it at the bottom of the screen for you to register. Let's move to 2024 quickly. Save the date. February 27th through March 3rd, Paddles at the Plex, Opelika, Alabama. Registration will open in mid-December for that. March 22nd through 24th is the Pickle in the Dell. That's a tournament that we've played in for years and years. They do a great job. It's being held now at Crossgates in Slidell, Louisiana. The following weekend, March 29th, 30th, Alabama Open in Clay, Alabama. Registration hasn't opened yet, but save the date, March 29th and 30th. And finally, 2024, April 12th through 14th, Hattiesburg, Mississippi. Marla Mims is putting this on. Look, there's already 47 people registered for this tournament. I think they could sell out fast, or it's just going to be a big tournament. It's a fundraiser for the Youth Life Organization and the Wesley Foundation. Friday the 12th is a family night, open play. Saturday is gender doubles, Sunday mixed doubles. Again, go to pickleballbrackets.com. Bud, that's it for tournament update. Also, if you have an update and want to email me, we'll put the email at the bottom of the screen to send me a note on your tournament, either a new or one that's already in the list, but you have some updated information. So back to you, Bud.
All right, Ken, thanks for that update.
We talked some this week, and we wanted to just get into a general discussion of what to do with certain balls and when to counterattack or when to reset. So that's going to be generally what we're talking about. I'm going to turn it over to Ken or Vicki to start us off, kind of explaining what each one of those things are, and then we'll talk about some specific situations where it's smarter to use one over the other.
Yeah, so we just wanted to make sure that we're all on the same page. An attack really is the ball that you're speeding up. So we all try to hit a nice soft dink shot or a nice soft third shot drop, or we're in the middle of a dink rally, or we're transitioning up to that no volley zone and we're trying to hit a soft shot. So whether all four of us are up there or two are at the transition zone, any ball that we're talking about that's really sped up is an attack ball. And a counterattack would be speeding up the return of a ball that's sped up. So we'll talk about attack, we'll talk about counterattack, and the third is a reset. What is a reset? Whether it's taking it out of the air or taking it off the bounce, you're basically trying to take that pace off of that ball and get it right over the net into that no volley zone. You're trying to create an unattackable ball from a ball that might have been sped up through softening your shot. And again, whether it's out of the air or whether you're picking it up off the bounce. So that sound about right to you, Jeff?
Yeah. So we've got the three things established. Before we get further into this conversation, I want to make it clear, y'all. We're not sitting here saying, "Hey, this is how you should do in each situation." We're not saying that at all. What we're going to try to give you is a general idea of what to do with certain balls when they're presented to you in certain ways. Then from there, you got to use your own skill set. I know some guys that I play with, it is a bad idea to attack them because they are really good counterattackers. So they might lean towards more waiting for somebody to speed a ball up at them because they're good at counterattacking. Other people are good off the attack at attacking at the first opportunity. So as we move into this discussion, please take this as as written rules that can't be broken, because pickleball can be played in a lot of different ways. But in general, I think what we're going to give you today is kind of general rules to go by, especially at lower levels when you're trying to figure things out that'll really help you win points and win. So I guess we'll start, y'all, by talking about when two players are entrenched at the net, the other team is in the transition zone. If you get a ball that's up, even though they're at the line, of course, you're going to attack that ball. Okay. But a lot of times they're going to have the advantage and be able to put balls either down at your knees without bouncing, or making it bounce at your feet. Those are definitely balls that, for the most part, you want to try to reset those balls back into the kitchen. And what you're trying to do is you're trying to get a little air under it, reset that ball where you and your partner can move back up to the net to try to, say, level out the point or even out the point where you're playing 50-50 pickleball. So that's definitely one of the times that you want to reset.
I wanted to throw something in here too. In considering which shot to make, I think something else that you have to think about is your strengths and weaknesses in being able to execute those shots. For example, I sometimes try to hit a topspin backhand, which I'm not really good at. And I think I need to learn not to try that shot more. In other words, I do it too often, and too often I just hit it in the net. So I think you have to evaluate, do you have a strong forehand that you can drive? Do you have a forehand that you can easily reset with? And the same for your backhand. So I think that's a consideration that you have to make in what type of shot you're going to use when you're going to use it.
Yeah, and working on those weaknesses again, when drills and different things like that, it could be potentially that you want to start trying a two-hand backhand with just a little block, or taking it off the short hop. There's a lot of different little things that people do, like you're saying, Jeff. They're comfortable with how they're doing it, but if you're not getting the success that you need to get, it is something to focus on and try changing it up and try some different things. But again, thinking in those areas, whether it is a drive, it is a counterattack, it's attack, whatever, if it's going harder, you run that risk that it's just coming harder back at you. So you really do have to judge carefully whether or not you want to drive that ball at all.
I know one of my favorite exchanges is when I can drive the ball at somebody at the net, they hit it back, I drive it back at them again, they hit it back, and then I reset. That's one of my favorite sequences that I like to do. So that's something to think about. If somebody keeps hitting your drives back, then it's time to obviously change your strategy and try something else.
Jeff, going back to the scenario you were talking about where two people are kind of in the transition zone and two people are at the net and hitting kind of down, you say that's the perfect time to reset. This past weekend, I was watching the 4-5 men's play at the West Feliciana Fall Fling tournament, and that scenario was playing out over and over again, and I saw them kind of in the transition zone. They had their paddles down, and they just kept getting that ball bouncing up, bouncing over the net, and the other team was still hitting it hard back down at them, and they kept resetting until finally they got that ball that kind of barely went over the net or tipped the top of the net and fell, and then they moved in right behind it. So it was like I was sitting there watching some great play. Brent and Jody and Keith, Jason, Caitlin, all those guys, and that's exactly what they were doing, keeping their paddles down, continue resetting until they had the chance to move back in and get back up into neutral play up at the no volley zone. So,
Ken, you're right on point with that. And a lot of people are probably going to be able to relate to what I'm fixing to say. there's times where you serve the ball and you're just on the defensive. You're fighting, trying to get to the net. Well, at lower level play, they keep putting that third, that fifth, that seventh back up into the strike zones of the opposing players, and it just keeps coming downhill back at you. But and sometimes you can't do anything about that. But as you move up into play, or if the players that I'm talking about would think about it, a lot of times there comes to you. I might hit 3 hard shots where I'm getting it back across and they're hammering it back at me. Then I get one that's barely over the net, and then they give me that softer ball back. Now I have an opportunity to make 2 decisions. One is to hammer that ball again and be in the same situation that I've been in for 3 or 4 shots, or take that ball and reset it into the kitchen, loft it over the net, giving me and my partner the time to get up to the net. And now we're in their face playing what I call, and many people call, 50-50 pickleball. And it's a shot that you can sit there and watch the levels. When it's 3-5 and below, usually there is not much resetting. When you do see it move up higher, but there's no reason that 3-5 players and below can't start getting this concept in their head to take that ball that you get, that easy one. There's a lot of times where you get that easy shot to reset it into the kitchen and get you and your partner to the line.
No doubt. I mean, and that's, once you slow it down and you start trying and you start learning to do that, I think you find yourself with both of you, not only is it like now 50-50 pickleball, but now's when you actually can try to start constructing some points and put a little strategy into being at the net and doing the things you might know and love to do in a dink battle, waiting for a pop-up or trying to move people out. I mean, there's a lot of different strategy that you can use there, but you can't do it when you're stuck on the defense in the transition zone.
And I think a lot of players, Vicki, I think that putting that air under it, I mean, I think it gives them the heebie-jeebies almost, because when you think of putting air under, they're gonna attack it. Well, over time, you learn to put that air under it and get it into that kitchen area, or even if it comes down toward their ankles as a volley, they have to reach down for it a lot of times.
Right.
And that's what you're looking for. I would encourage people, just try it. If you don't ever try it, then you'll be forever a 3-5 player. And again, that might be fine with a lot of people, but if you're wanting to move up in levels, it's something that you have to learn. So just play around with it, try it some, get a little air under it, make it. I talked last year with Molly Nanny about get some loft under it, and she would pick at me later weeks. She said, "Jeff, I'm getting lofty. I'm getting lofty," and it helped her to transition her game up another level. So we're talking about that. So another chance to take balls and reset them is when it's a scramble point. And I'm scrambling way over wide to the right or way over wide to the left. So me and my partner are discombobulated. Okay, again, you have 2 choices there. Try to hit some fantastic winner that you'll get probably 1 out of 10 times, and it might make Sports Center because it's a highlight shot. Or you can go soft with the ball somewhere to try and up in the air and into the kitchen, preferably cross court. Now that allows you and your partner to shift and get back into the point. That's another thing that high-level players do. They don't try risky shots very often in that situation. So the reset can really help you out there. Lower level play, normally when the ball goes wide and somebody's running for it, they get there in time and then they hit it hard somewhere. If you hit it hard, you're either going to hit it out, hit it wide, or it's going right back into the strike zone of the 2 players you're playing. And now there's a big wide gap created that they can just punch that ball back into that hole.
You know, Jeff, that's something you're talking, that lofty dink over the net. A lot of times that to me is like a decoy. and somebody will take the bait and think, well, it's coming over high across the net. I'm going to be able to drive it on the bounce. And a lot of times they just hit it right in the net.
Yep.
You know, because it just isn't going to bounce high enough to make a drive shot that close to the net, over the net.
Yeah, for sure, bud. Even little dinks in the front half of the kitchen toward the net. You know, a lot of people, they're hitting their dinks so flat, their balls never land in that area. But sometimes in a dink rally, put it in behind there. It's making them move to go get it. Once they get there, they can't do anything with it because the net's actually protecting you. It's down in behind the net. You'd be shocked. That's an unattackable ball. And if you can get it there a lot, again, you're keeping yourself from being attacked.
And you bring up the point of time and buying time. And when you are pulled, you're off kilter as partners. Again, it's about time. It is about buying time to get yourselves back situated so that once again, you can start to try to put some strategy to work. I think a lot of people play and they don't even think about where their partner might be. Are they moving together? And now again, you get pulled out, or you're thinking about where you're putting the shot with your partner, maybe at risk. But I like to think about the time factor, and that when you're slowing things down, I'm really working hard on that right now, is trying so hard to just slow down, because you do end up discovering in the long run, you have more time than you think you do. And, and when you buy that time, you can then do more with the ball than you thought you could.
Okay, so we've covered resets pretty good. Now, Vicki, and you look, you're admitting the same way I'm fixing to admit here that we're working on stuff just like all of y'all out there. Please, everybody understand that. So the next thing that I'd like for us to discuss a little bit is counterattacking. Okay, one of the strengths of my game is being a good defensive player. But in pickleball, a good defensive player is going to be defeated by good offense most of the time. I can get back 3 or 4 balls that somebody's driving at me, but eventually, if I don't try to counterattack some of those balls, I'm going to probably lose the point. And that's one thing that I'm really trying to work hard on, is trying to, instead of being such a resetter all the time, trying to pick balls out that I can counterattack and slide to my forehand to get my forehand involved. Do y'all have any ideas or thoughts upon that? Ken, you're a pretty good counterattacker as well as an attacker.
Well, the one thing that I have tried to work on, and it's on a 1 to 10 scale, I'm still a 1 or a 2, but looking at how some other the better players play is, I think you always want to anticipate where they're going with the ball and watching their paddles. And I think what's helped me to be a better, I don't say good, a better counterattacker is anticipating when somebody else might be speeding up a ball, so that you're ready for it, or what seems to be a logical place for them to hit a ball. I try to anticipate that and just have my paddle out in front, not take a swing all the time. But that's helped me, and it's really from playing with some of the people like a Rob O'Neill and some of the other players that I've learned so much from playing with at Pelican Park and other places. Jason, Keith, the Homo Boys, Tony, go on and on. Playing with you, Jeff, and Bud and Vicki, just anticipating where that ball might be coming has helped me.
So, Ken, you probably just touched on the most important part of counterattacking, and it's what I'm struggling to work with. If the ball's on my right, if I'm on the left-hand side, and say you're on the right-hand side, and the ball goes to mine and your right-hand side, to the player to the right in front of us, I am responsible for the middle of the court. Okay? So you're saying anticipate. You'll see pro players that when they think that there might be a speed up coming, they'll take and they'll load up either with their two-handed backhand or their forehand in that middle. Because if it goes hard to my left side, it's going out of bounds more than likely. And if they decide not to attack, Now I just bring my paddle down. They cross court dink. It's a dink. Ball's coming slow, so I can get up there and get the dink. And I encourage people to watch. You see this in pro pickleball matches. A lot of times they load up, the ball doesn't come there, but they were ready for it in case it did. So that anticipation, Ken, I think is probably the most important key to being a really good counterattacker. And it's kind of seeing it before it happens.
Yeah, and I just watched a video that the gentleman was explaining how to also step back off that no volley line to give yourself just, again, time being so important to then be able to read. And do I reset or am I counterattack? And if you're going to counterattack, it gives you that second to just take
Yes.
your paddle and move. And he said where people get into trouble with doing this is when they stay back and they don't come back up to the no volley line. So he said, again, you're bringing up the pros and watching the pros. And he said, watch them. It's like a dance that they're moving back and moving up and moving back. He said that without a doubt, this can also help you to judge if someone is going to speed up the ball. Is it going out? Now I've backed up a little bit. When I'm more forward, it's going to be much tougher for me to read. Is it going in or what? You back up just a little bit, you're going to be able to read that a whole lot better too. So that was an interesting thing. He felt like even if you're going to then counterattack and speed, again, it gives you that moment to be able to read. Again, like Ken was saying, read the paddle and read where the ball is going a little better too.
So that's good stuff on that, y'all. Now let's talk about what everybody loves: attacking. So, hey, the balls. Let's say it's high. Of course, we're attacking that ball. The ball's shoulder height. We're attacking that ball most of the time. As the ball gets lower and lower on you, you can still attack, but you want to do it at. You don't want to always attack those balls. Get that paddle ready again, nice, compact, like we talk about, and be ready because a lot of times versus good players, that ball's going to come back, and you might have to give the 1-2 or the 1-2-3. It might take 3 shots to finish that off when you are attacking.
And I
Anybody
think common mistake everybody makes, that I can see, and I know even for myself, again, is being ahead of the ball. You want to attack so badly that you go before you actually should. You over anticipate and end up in trouble hitting it in the net or hitting it deep or whatever. So it's that patience and time and having that paddle ready, but take that deep breath and not be ahead of the ball on getting ready to attack.
Vicki, what you're talking about, I saw this weekend that there's a pro player who's probably got, it's a male player, his name's Christian Alshon. Mm-hmm. He's probably got more upside or more ceiling than any player on the tour. And I watched him this weekend, whereas he was always real athletic and just could attack the heck out of balls, but he would spray the balls around sometimes. This weekend, he's been working on it. He got everything short and compact, and he's got time, like you just said, but he would snap it down and instead of just swinging hard wildly and letting it go somewhere, he's actually picking a spot and putting it somewhere at about, I would say, 80%. And I watched him play. He's always been good because he's so athletic, but I think I watched some of his best pickleball this weekend by taking his time and doing that.
That's great. And you bring up not having that big swing, and that is a big thing you don't have to do it. That snap is, most of the time you don't want to be wristy, but there are times when in pickleball using your wrist is a good thing.
And talking about how there's not just one little can that you can put this in to say, hey, this is how to do it. If you're attacking people and it's working in match number 1 that you play in, attack the heck out of them. I mean, knock the cover off the ball. But if you're attacking somebody and they're counterattacking you and they're winning most of the points, then stop counterattacking that person. A couple of players that come to mind, one is Alexis Andrews. Attack Alexis Andrews' backhand, and it's gonna end up bad for you. Attack Brent Roy anywhere in his torso area, you're gonna have a bad day. Okay, so if you come up against those type players and you're attacking them and it's not working, then go somewhere else with the ball. Go soft in front of them. Go cross court.
Right.
So don't have just a one way of thinking about this with what we've shared today. There might be match number 1, you might win it attacking people. Match number 2, it might be they're not very good. You're better than them in dink rallies. So reset a lot of balls. Get it in the kitchen. Turn it into a dink game where you're winning 80% of those points. So use all of these tools that we talked about to fit your skill set and your partner's skill set the best way that you can, and then be adaptable within each match you play.
Well, I think what you have to do is you have to be able to accept the fact that there's no playbook that's going to work all the time.
That's
And
right.
you've got to be, not only do you have to know your partner and your strengths, but you have to identify the weakness of your opponent. And like you said, Jeff, if you're driving the ball and you're successful because your opponents can't handle it, then keep doing it. But if they're hitting it right back at you, you've got to be able to be flexible enough to change that strategy and be prepared to do something different. Pickleball is not an all one thing game. It's not just physical. There's a lot of mental aspects to the game.
It is.
And strategy. Yeah.
You go back and evaluate. You can go back and look at your points and see how many times it, even if it didn't come back at you, but by what you did, you put your partner at risk. And that, I remember being a total revelation at one point, going, what do you mean I just did that to you? I just hitting the ball back. What do you mean? Yeah, but if you hit it, once somebody shows it to you and explains it to you by driving it this way, it's not going to come back to you. It's going to come back at me because I'm the closest to the net. So once those things become more clear to you, then you have to put it into your mindset when you're playing, and being able to pay attention and watch where the ball came from. Did it come hard, soft? Do I need to reset it? Do I need to drive? Is there a great spot I can put it away? If not, what am I going to do with it? But I certainly don't want to put my partner at risk. That's for sure.
And as you progress through the levels, to me, it's been my experience, as we progress to the different levels, that's when the more mental part of the game steps in and you begin to think and adjust. Whereas when you start off the game, most people are just attackers. That's all they know what to do is attack, attack, attack.
Right.
And as your level of play goes up, you begin to adjust and think more about doing other things.
Right. I mean, and this goes to a whole nother thing that, Ken and I have been talking about, I think, for the last 2 days. And that's when you're out practicing and you're playing rec games, try to take a different approach from your rec games and do not just make them about winning.
Yes, absolutely.
We can do everything all the time to just win, 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 win. And you could be playing, how did you say, Ken, the other day? My grandma in a wheelchair and beat her up. You're going to go home and feel good about it. What did you learn? What did you learn? And so that's the thing. We talk about all these strategies and all these different things until you put it into action in rec play. You won't go to a tournament and be able to do that.
Good. One last comment on hitting an attack ball doesn't mean hitting a ball 50 miles an hour. It's really going from hitting a non-attackable ball to what would be an attackable ball, but you're just adding a little pace, or you're adding some redirection that's not expected. Kevin Fair's real good at that, dinking back and forth. Then all of a sudden, he hits it right in between the two players, and it lands deep inside the baseline, but he doesn't hit it hard. It's an unexpected redirection of the ball. A lot of times, and it's happened to me, hitting a person right into their core. When you're in a flow with a dink going back and forth, and all of a sudden you redirect to the person in front of you and right to their chicken wing or to their core, mean, that's an attackable ball, and it's not a ball that you had to clobber. You just have sped it up a little bit, and it's no longer a non-attackable shot. It's an attackable shot from you. So anyway, one last comment there.
Yeah, and I got one last comment on what Vicki said a second ago. I challenge people, if you're able to beat a lot of players at the 3-5 level can beat players at their level and beneath them by just speeding everything up and running over them. I would challenge, if you're that player, I would challenge you to go into the match, and like Vicki said, don't worry in rec play if you're winning or losing. See if you can beat them through the slow game. And then once you start doing that, now you have both of those weapons in your arsenal. Okay? Most lower level players can play the fast game, but they can't play the slower game and the reset game. But once you get both of those, then you're fixing to go win you a bunch of pickleball games because you can win in both ways. And what better place to practice it in rec play? Who cares if you win or lose?
That's right.
Try to see if you can beat them in a different way.
Jeff, what was really interesting is when we were at the tournament last weekend, we were just walking around. We wanted to cheer people on, see who was playing, but we walked from where they were playing the 3-0 gender doubles, and you could see it was like boom, 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 4 shots, 5 shots, point was over. Then we walked over to the 3-5 area, and you still had a little of that, but then you had some soft shots in there. Right. Then we walked over to the 4-0 players, and it was more soft shots than hard shots, but you did have some hard shot. Then we went to the 4-5. I mean, it was almost a total soft game that was going on. So it was interesting to be able to walk kind of through the levels and watch the play over the weekend. So
yeah,
just an observation.
Yeah. All right, Bud, I guess we'll kick it back to you.
All right. That was a great discussion, crew. I understand that Vicki and Ken spent the weekend in St. Francisville at a tournament, and they have some information to share with us.
Yeah, Bud, it's weird going to a pickleball tournament and not playing in it, but that's exactly what we did. But we wanted to go and just hang out. It's the Fall Fling in West Feliciana, St. Francisville, at the West Feliciana Parks and Sportsplex. They always do such a great job. So we said, hey, let's go head out. It was kind of an excuse too to take the Pickleball Express, and we camped and spent the night right there in the park. But we got a great opportunity, first off, to interview Dan Heath and David Parker, who are kind of co-tournament directors. They've been doing it now. I think this is the 8th year of putting on the Fall Fling or the pickleball tournament. I think it's been under a few different names. But I had a great sit down with them, Bud, and I think I've shared some video with you. So if you don't mind, we can kind of segue into that. And they tell us all about the history of the tournament, and it was a good interview. So let's segue to that then.
Hey, Bud. We're here at the West Feliciana Sports Park. I'm here with Dan Heath and David Parker. We're here for the West Feliciana Pickleball Tournament. Fall Fling 2023. So tell us, first off, what are your positions here with relationships to the tournament and the sports park?
All right, so we're both co-tournament directors.
Okay.
We've had people helping us in the past, like Ken Howard, Lisa Hallstatler, and this year we decided we think we can do this on our own. So
okay.
I'm the president of the West Feliciana Pickleball Club. David is our treasurer. He was a past president. We've just kind of swapped positions back and forth. Like we told you earlier, we are charter board members of this organization. We've been with this club for 8 years now. 8 years.
So is this the 8th year of the tournament?
Eighth year that we've had an event out here. It started off with about 40 to 60 people.
Okay.
Last year we had 155. We got 120 about that this year. And we're just happy to have people come out and play at our facilities. We love it. I mean,
and we're real proud of this tournament, getting the support we have. We have players from 5 states, so I find that that's interesting. And our tournament this year, we have 2 charities that we're sponsoring, Young Life and PEO, which is a philanthropic educational organization for women, which helps women in domestic abuse and poverty get out of that cycle through education. So they offer scholarships and grants to ladies to help them jumpstart to independence.
Right.
That's excellent.
And we got with several of our business here in the local area. They've stepped right up to the plate, helped support us with donations so we can make sure we can put on a really good tournament. The real important thing is that we have a good pot of money to give to these organizations when this is all said and done.
That's great.
We're a nonprofit organization. We're not out here to make any money. We're out here to support these organizations.
So all of the profit will be split between these two charities?
Correct.
Or something?
50-50.
So every year you pick two different charities in the, and how do you determine?
So we start our planning like about 4 months out, 4 to 5 months out. Get a group of our committee members that have done this before. We've got a nice spreadsheet that we work through. And that's when we determine at that point, what are the charities that we're going to support this year. Last year it was our local food bank and our animal shelter. A couple years before that, it was Liver Foundation. It's just, it
That's
varies.
great. That's great that you're doing it for the community.
It's for the community to help people out.
Now this year, how many people do you have participating in the tournament? You have 3 days of events. Behind us is singles that are going on tonight, men's and women's singles. Women are over on the courts behind the fence. Men are playing right now. So how many people total do you have registered?
We have 137 registered, but only 127 will be taking the court. Okay. The other 10 had to drop out for various reasons, but they donated their money to our charities. Tonight behind us, you'll see there are 17 singles players battling it out. So then the top 2 from each flight will advance to the semis and then to the finals.
Wow.
There we go.
That's great. That's great. So this pavilion was a basketball pavilion originally, and then you guys painted lines on it for pickleball and kind of share it with the basketball?
Just to give you a little history, so the first 3 courts you see right here were the first 3 courts that we got the sports park to actually physically put markings down for.
Wow.
So once we started playing over here, it was just a natural progression. We moved into the junior tennis courts.
Okay.
And one of our members said, hey, you know, we could put pickleball markings here. So the park agreed to it. Then last year, we got with the park, and we, as an organization, they split the cost. We provided the nets, they did the concrete work, the back fencing. We built the storage shed. We paid for everything else, the coatings, everything. So it was a collaborative effort between the sports park and our club.
That's excellent.
And so we got 4 new courts there.
In a little bit, we're going to spin around. We'll be able to see the 4 dedicated courts, and those were. What year was that? Was that last year?
We put those in April of last year.
April of last year. That's great.
And so just some numbers on our club. We started with 45 members 8 years ago.
Okay.
We're now at 90, and we're a community of 1,420 people. St. Francisville is a very small, tiny town. But we've got a group of 90 that is faithful, and we have play morning and afternoon, 7 days a week.
Yeah, we can play 7 days a week, 2 times a day if you want to. And
really?
We're out here playing.
And that's from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m.?
So 7 a.m. till about 10:30.
Oh, really?
They'll take a break during the hottest part of the day. We'll come back out at 5:30, and we'll play till 9 o'clock when the park closes.
That's great. And you also have events out here with coaching coming out, right?
To do some. We did 3 clinics this year with our club. We had the clinic that you and Vicki both supported in was that May? I think it was April or March time frame.
Yeah.
We had the Morris's. Tex and Cindy came out and did a clinic with us in the summer when we had the access to the school middle school gym, and then we just had Jeff Fusha and Howard Ward did a clinic getting ready for this tournament with some of our members.
That's That's great. Now, just to mention, you've got, how many tennis courts are behind us? Is there 3?
There's 6.
Six tennis courts altogether. So you got 4 in that big complex, and then 2 that are right here, and then you got the 2 junior courts that are still marked for junior tennis, but we got pickleball.
Now, when did the sports park open up originally?
It's been about 15 years.
Was
15 years ago, they came out here, and obviously they spent most of the money on the baseball complex that you see over there. And just this past year, they had a grant with the high school and the park and the whole city got together, and they just astroturf several of those ball fields, so it's like
the infield. They
professional-
astroturf the infield. That's great. That's
it's
nice.
like professional baseball back there now.
That's nice. That's
and
nice.
so they've got eight baseball fields back there, and of course you got all the soccer field out. So they got soccer out here. We got pickleball. We got tennis, baseball. They got every sport you think of. They're doing croquet. They're actually going to be putting.
Looks like you got a running trail or jogging trail that goes around.
all the way around the side.
So we've got complimentary dinner, which comes with your entry fee. We're doing pizza, and we've got an assortment of beverages over here. And then we've got our 2 charities who have spearheaded the raffle.
Okay.
And so they've got about 30 items over there that people are buying raffles for. And in our registration booth over there. So it's a West Feliciana and St. Francisville. We pride ourselves on entertaining. This is a sporting event, but we also know how to entertain and take care of people hospitality-wise.
Yeah. So not only do the proceeds from the registration, but you've got the raffle that's going to go toward the charities as well.
Whatever we raise on the raffle, whatever we raise on the tournament, and then all the sponsors, all that money will be distributed once we pay off the cost of whatever it costs. It costs a couple $1,000.
Yeah.
Put this event.
I tell you, you guys always put on a great event, and tonight you have a band, right? A band.
Yeah, that's right.
You got pizza, you got water, you got a band,
We got beer.
and you got beer.
We have some cocktails.
There you go.
Yeah,
Now-
there's no reason, no way you can't have a good time.
No, and as part of your registration tomorrow, is it jambalaya? Is that?
It's either going to be jambalaya or pasta.
Okay.
We're going to eat something delicious.
There you go. There you go. And there's going to be a lunch on Sunday.
And then
Burgers
Sunday
or
we're
something?
having burgers.
Grilling the
and
burgers
chips.
out.
That's
here.
great.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you, you guys, go ahead.
Right, and we have complimentary light breakfast tomorrow morning. We have a lot of political candidates. One in particular is sponsoring Saturday and Sunday donuts for all the players, and then we'll have light breakfast snacks, muffins,
Water throughout the day.
Yeah, water throughout the day, and we try and meet all our players' needs. So once they get out here and they warm up and they start playing, that they don't have to leave the facility.
One other good thing about our club is we've got several nurses, doctors, nurse practitioners. And so we've got, from a first aid standpoint, we got people that are standing by here for the next 3 days to help
Excellent.
anybody that might get injured.
Excellent.
We also have the fire station just right outside the opening of the park that they can respond with an ambulance if we need to get, somebody transported off site. And we got the hospital right here in Westville.
Great.
And a feature we're really proud of is due to the expansive nature of our park, we're able to allow RVs to come in and boondock. So we have several RVs where players are coming in and camping out through the weekend. So that's another fun feature.
Well,
And that's at no cost.
That's unique to
Yeah.
not every complex can do that.
And I know we've got people that are staying in the hotels and other stuff that are coming.
Yeah, I heard the hotels are really full this weekend.
Well,
You've got
they
the
are.
rodeo on Sunday.
We
huh?
have Angola Rodeo and their world famous crafts fair,
Yeah.
which is
Okay.
every Sunday in October. But St. Francisville is the 3rd most visited tourist destination in the state of Louisiana.
Hey,
So
we got the myrtles here,
Yes,
Haunted
yes.
We
house.
have the myrtle.
This.
Yeah.
We actually spent our honeymoon not far from here, so this
Oh,
was
good.
And
This
if
is a
you want some
destination that we
fine
love,
cuisine,
yeah.
We've got 3 top-notch restaurants.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
at least 3. We
The
got
St.
several.
Francisville Inn is the open table top 100 restaurant in America.
Wow.
In a town of 1,420 people.
And then you got the Francis. That's an excellent restaurant if you want a good steak. Good meal.
Right.
Yeah.
So where do you see the tournament going in the next few years? Do you going to continue to grow it? Any special plans?
Well, we want 200 plus players to come out here. We've got access to, we only set up 12 courts for this event since
Right.
we had the limited numbers, but we've got access to all of the tennis courts.
All the
So
tennis
that's 8.
courts.
So multiply that, that's another 16.
That's
So we can definitely put on a 200 plus event out here without any problem.
Okay.
And that's our goal. And as long as people get behind us and we have the philanthropy calls, it's worth the effort to put this tournament on every year.
Well, you guys do a great job. This is a fun tournament. We were here 2 years ago. Unfortunately, we missed last year, but
Right.
we're
I'm
glad
y'all can make it
I'm
this year.
glad we're
And
back
Pelican
again.
Point,
Because I
push
tell
their
you, it's
event a little bit.
just a lot of fun, whether you're playing or not, just to come and hang out.
Right.
Everybody's so nice here, and with the beer, the pizza, the water, the music,
Yeah.
it's a fun time. So,
Good.
anything else you want to say before we
Ken,
leave?
I appreciate you and Vicki coming out tonight, and I hope you guys enjoy your
Thank you
play.
so much.
All
Thank you. You guys are so hospitable. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hey,
Cheers.
Bud, from West
See ya.
Feliciana Sports Flux.
That was a great interview, a lot of good information. And Vicki, I understand that you had the opportunity to talk to a couple of ladies who were involved in the running of the tournament.
Yes, I did. Some really fun ladies to sit down with. Pardon the glasses, but Heather Busby, Stephanie Fontenot, and Marcia Daniel. A few of the ladies were board members and other volunteers that came together, and they decided to have a lot of fun with this tournament and do some really different things with it. And it was a fun interview. They're fun ladies. They talk fun all the time. And they're really, really sweet. So yes, I know you've got some video on that. And then they kind of lead us into what was a surprise that they developed. I know they spent a tremendous amount of time on their raffle prizes, but there was one surprise also that you have a video on as well. That was a surprise for all of the players and guests on Friday night. So let it roll.
Hey, Bud, Vicki here. And we are at the tournament in West Feliciana Parish. And I am here with some West Feliciana Parish Pickleball Club members and board members. And we thought we'd just get a quick little interview to kind of go over some fun things that are happening at this tournament. And so, guys, if y'all wouldn't mind, how about you introduce yourselves? And if you have a position with the club, let us know.
Okay. I'm Marcia Daniel, and I am on the pickleball board. This is my first year on the board. Before that, I just got out and played. It was a slow grow, and I'm still learning. But the thing I think our club is so good because we start with the beginners.
All right.
We're not afraid to start with beginners.
Wonderful.
So it's really there for everybody, and we encourage anybody who wants to learn to come out. We've got plenty of teachers. I'm looking at one over there. And the thing about pickleball, you learn the rules and then you practice. Practice.
Yeah.
That's all it is, right?
Right.
All right. And this
Have
is
fun.
Stephanie Fontenot.
Hi. And I'm on the board. I've been on the board for about a year. It's just a fun club. A lot of people getting together and having fun, hitting the balls. Doesn't matter if you win or lose. And then you introduce it to other people. This is my granddaughter,
Hi.
Heather Busby, and she's a new player.
I'm a new player. I've been playing in the club for about a year or so, and I absolutely love it. I get to play with my parents. I get to play with my grandparents. I get to meet everybody in the community, people I probably wouldn't meet otherwise, and then you get to see them around town, and it's just great.
Yes.
We call it the fun club.
Yeah. And for the younger ones, what they talk about a lot is the relationships that you're building with some people in the older community. That normally you wouldn't even have that relationship. So it's really cute that you bring that out.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah, and I love getting to see people in town. And then actually I've gotten to do other things with other people. I was part of a yoga class, and then we go to the bookstore and the coffee shop, and it's awesome. I love it.
That's great.
And a lot of the places that we frequent are sponsors for our pickleball tournament. We have a raffle, and they'll donate gifts from their shop or money, so they're supporting the community as well, and our club.
And that brings out that you guys have an amazing array of prizes that are up for raffles. Tell us a little bit about how you guys collected that as a group. I mean, you guys are obviously working as a team to pull this off.
We have a committee, and the people that are sponsoring us, we're sponsoring two non-for-profits, the Young Life and the PEO, Philanthropy Women Helping Women group. So we got those people together, and they sold tickets to the raffle, and they advertised, and they went to their different shops that they frequent and restaurants that they eat at, and asked for gift certificates, and it has worked out. We've got all the community is supporting us. So
we were overwhelmed.
Yes.
We have over 34 raffle gifts, and
Right.
probably just a little over 120 players.
Right.
So our odds of winning a beautiful
Very, very
prize are
good.
really good.
That's
So
great.
we hope we get people out there on our tickets. But we have a great day.
Yes,
We're all
perfect.
having fun. We just we want, this is our, I think is our third tournament. And the neatest part to me about our tournament is the proceeds go to nonprofits.
Right.
That's wonderful.
So we're trying to
Yeah.
help the community.
And then you guys had a nice little surprise last night
Oh.
for the tournament players, and that was a blast. Tell us a little bit about how that came to be.
Well, my daughter Rachel, her mother saw a video of these blow up costumes, and people, like you'll see at the sports park, they have little races or whatever. So we thought, wouldn't it be fun if we got the blow up costumes and our members would dress up and play a pickleball game as a happy hippo and a blow up, what is it?
Like rainbow unicorn. Yeah.
And Pickleball Panda
Pickleball
was in there.
Panda.
Yes.
So that was really
just for
fun.
entertainment. And so that worked out really well. It was hilarious.
Yeah,
It really
we're hoping to
was.
like do a fun like icebreaker and have something that sort of shows like how unique and fun we really are, and how we really want everybody to come and like just have fun.
Yeah,
That's
and
great.
If I can throw in one more thing, unlike a lot of tournaments, what makes us ahead of everybody is we're serving lots of food. Friday night we had a band, we had beer.
Pizza.
So this is the place to be every year.
There you go.
This is the perfect time.
That's
So
it.
y'all,
That's
we want
great.
everybody to come out and be with us next year.
Sounds great. Thank you, ladies,
Thank
so
you
much
so
for
much
being
for
with
having
us
us.
today.
Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Back to you, Bud.
That was really a lot of fun watching those guys play pickleball. Wow, that sounded like Ken and Vicki, you had a great time in St. Francisville. And now it's that time again. Bring out the horse, because it's time for Jeff's Burr Under My Saddle.
You're Burr under my saddle. You're a thorn sticking in my side.
All right. Come on, people. I didn't go to the tournament this weekend. I got a lot of pickleball friends, and I talked to about 4 or 5 different people, and it came up a 4-letter word called wind. And they were just distraught because of the wind. Come on, people. Does that happen to both sides of the court, or is it only on one side of the court? The wind, that is an uncontrollable. Okay, and I feel like I'm gonna work on the things that I can control, and I'm gonna try to control that. The uncontrollables, I'm not even gonna think about that, other than I'm gonna take and I'm gonna use the wind in my favor. And I'm definitely not going to let the other side see that, man, this wind is driving me nuts. If I see that on the other side of the court, I'm like, oh, yeah, here we go. So just think about it. If the wind is at my back, then my drop shots and my serves and my drives, they're going to go. So just kind of lift that drop shot up, let it get into the wind, and let the wind carry it. If the wind's in my face, then I'm going to have to push everything into that wind a little harder. And I actually like it sometimes when the wind's in my face. You push that drop shot at them. You got to really push it, but you push it at them and the wind just knocks it down right at their feet. So we talked a while ago about the mental aspect of this game. Don't look at the wind as a hindrance. Look at it as an advantage to you, as long as you understand what it's doing and how it's moving the ball around. And I think you'll have much more success. And like I always say, if y'all want to gripe to me about the wind, I'm a little all about it. That is this week's Burr Under My Saddle.
Hey, Bud, I've got a shout out. Yep, I've got a shout out, and it's going to go to all those folks at the West Feliciana Pickleball Club, Dan and David and all the ladies. Just the amount of fun that we had, just hanging out and meeting new people. They did a great job. really did. The nice part was is that the tournament was completely a fundraiser for two different organizations there. That is fabulous work, guys. And it's just lovely to see everybody come together, work really hard to do a great job for these two organizations. Everyone was so welcoming. Great hospitality. There was a band Friday night. So they really went all out to try to make this a great experience for all of the players. So great job, everybody there. And you got my shout out.
All right, Vicki, those are some really nice shout outs. Our thanks to everybody in St. Francisville. Sound like everybody had a great time, and it's always good to hear when people put on good pickleball tournaments. And folks, I think that's it for this episode of the Pickleball Crew. So let's say goodnight. Good night, y'all.
Good night.
Good night.
Hey, from the Pickleball Crew, thanks for watching, and we'll see you all next week.
Well, that's it for this episode. We hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to leave any comments and please like and subscribe to our channel. Thanks again and see you next week.